It's been a while.
It has been.
Pre-COVID.
Yes.
Just before all that started.
Yeah. Been in a whirlwind, haven't we?
We definitely have. So we are recording now, so I just want to introduce myself. I am Patsy. I am the leader of the Sunflower Shapers team. We are shaping lives with faith and longevity through Young Living essential oils. And tonight is our summer fun before and after class DIY demo. So yes, Young Living carries bug repellent and sunscreen that are phenomenal, but we also like to do things sometimes a little bit more frugally, which if you ever buy those, make sure that you know how to hack those, because you can make both of those last a whole lot longer from the company. But tonight we're actually going to show you how to make your own at home, which is even more frugal. So why would we want to not buy sunscreen and bug repellent at a big box store? It is full of
Chemicals.
toxic chemicals. A lot of toxic chemicals. And I don't want you to have to, trust me, you don't know me. Most of you that are watching this, you probably never met me. So take the bottle of what it is. I was looking for a bottle of something that I had around here. Just read the ingredients on the back of the label and Google negative effects. Yes, you're going to get the negative effects, and some of it may have some positive, but most of them have an incredible amount of negative effects, and we don't need those. A lot of them are carcinogens, and we don't need any more toxicity in our world. We are exposed to so much. As women, the normal, typical woman has about 300 chemicals that they are exposed to on a daily basis. And 80 of them they apply every day before breakfast. That includes your shampoo, your toothpaste, your deodorant, your makeup, your perfume. All of those have a ton of toxic ingredients unless you're buying high quality, clean products. All of that stuff Young Living carries. Does that mean you have to get it from Young Living? Nope. If you found another brand that works for you, I am all about making sure you are using what works for you. But if you're looking for alternatives, I highly suggest trying the Young Living stuff. Again, the shampoos, the conditioners, a lot of that stuff can be hacked to make it last longer. I have a ton of recipes for that. I don't know, Colleen, I don't know if you heard anything about what has come out from convention.
Not yet.
Okay. 2 years ago, Young Living came out with non-toxic makeup. Even the best brands that I know of, and I don't want to tear down any other brands, but one of the best makeups that I know about on the market still has one ingredient in it that is not good for us, and that is bismuth. Young Living came out, there's no toxins in their makeup. This summer with convention, which was just last week for those of us that are watching this right away, they came out with a liquid foundation. They have had a powdered foundation that got put on with a misting spray that felt like liquid going on. I love the coverage, and I wish that you could see it, but I didn't have time to put makeup on tonight after cooking dinner for a house full of people. So I got the email today that my purchase from convention shipped, and I got the makeup pack that has all the shades in it, and I also have one from the other foundation. So if you would love to switch your makeup over to Young Living, I would be more than happy to sit down and play makeup with you. So hello, Angela. Thank you for joining us. So that's pretty much like the basics about why we wanted to switch over what we're doing. So I kind of focused on the makeup because we're really excited about the liquid foundation. But we're also going to talk about the ingredients and why we're using what we're using in our DIYs tonight. Colleen, do you have anything to add?
Not that I can think of at this time.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Do you want me to go first with my stuff, Colleen, or do you want to do yours?
That's fine. Go right ahead.
Okay. I am going to show you a DIY facial moisturizer that has an SPF to it. And I'm going to do a soothing after sun spray. So name of the class was before and after. So before the sun, after the sun. The moisturizer I'm going to share with you is actually like a daily moisturizer with SPF, not necessarily what you would consider a normal sunscreen. In the
Just for your face?
that's what I'm going to show tonight.
Okay.
When I post this in the comments, I'm going to post several recipes for like a normal sunscreen.
Okay.
There are numerous ones. And I'm going to do the same with the after sun spray because I specifically chose the one that I chose tonight because I feel like it has a little bit more moisturizing properties to it. I have pretty dry skin personally. And so the one I chose is a little bit more moisturizing. The other one has witch hazel in it, which I know why that they chose to use it, but I'm concerned for my personal skin that it's going to be a little too drying. So I wanted to do the one that's going to be a little bit more moisturizing. So I've got all kinds of stuff all over my desk. So on my desk, I have a little mug warmer that during the winter, I keep my bone broth on while I'm working and keep it warm. And I used that to put, it's really hard to see that with the glare of light in here. That is about 2 tablespoons of shea butter that I warmed up on that. So it's not super hot, which you don't want things hot when you're working with essential oils. So you want them warm enough to when you're mixing things like these up to make it liquid so that the oil spread throughout it. But heat will actually destroy the therapeutic properties of the essential oils. So you don't want those. And I have a tickle in my throat, pardon me. Okay. So our recipe tonight takes 1/4 cup of organic coconut oil, the kind that gets solid at room temperature, 2 tablespoons of shea butter, 1/2 teaspoon. I apologize, I'm not sure where that tickle's coming from, but 1/2 teaspoon of vitamin E oil, 4 drops of geranium, 4 drops of lavender, and 10 drops of carrot seed. So the carrot seed is got the SPF to it. So basically we're going to mix our oils. So the shea butter, and this is my coconut oil. I get it in like big jugs, so I keep it in jars like this in the kitchen. So I'm going to do 1/4 cup, and as you can see, it's pouring. And I'm going to mix it right in here with the shea butter. And then we need 1/2 teaspoon of vitamin E oil. I'm not honestly sure if this is a really good one. It's what I had on hand. I don't use vitamin E oil too much, but I'm just using the dropper to fill that. So if you are used to being in the kitchen and doing things, this is probably going to seem really simple. If you're not, it may feel complicated, but honestly, it really is not that complicated to do. So I just poured that in there. I'm going to use that 1/2 teaspoon measure in just a minute to stir all this up. So we want geranium. here we go. 4 drops of geranium. As you're using your essential oils, remember that there is a tiny hole and a big hole in here. The tiny hole is actually where the oil comes out, and most, unless you've got super good eyes, you're not going to really even be able to see it. I can't. The large hole in the center is actually an air hole. So sometimes you have to turn this to make it drop. And you don't want to touch the top of your bottle. There, 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you touch the top of the bottle, your skin cells get in the oil and can degrade it faster. And it also messes with the frequency. Everything on Earth vibrates at a frequency that is alive, and essential oils are still alive, and they carry a frequency. And we need 4 drops.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that either.
So
I didn't know you're not supposed to touch it, or didn't know about turning it side to side. So that's good. Good to know.
That's why I mention it, because sometimes if you've not been to a class, and I know Verna didn't bring it up at the Bible oils class that we did, and then we're going to do carrot seed. Yeah, the skin cells that get in there, and it messes with the frequency of it. So I have to check. I didn't check to see if this one had oil in it.
I've had trouble telling too.
I have to hold it up to a light, and this one does. It just, I'm just going to keep turning until we start dropping out here. Can you guys even see the drops as they're coming out?
Yeah, we did on the last one.
Yeah.
Good.
And so how much lavender are you using?
4 geranium, 4 lavender, and 10 carrot seed.
Do they all seem to have a different viscosity or thickness, or are they all about the same?
They actually all do have different ones. And as you use your oils, you'll learn which ones have
Higher viscosity.
yeah.
Higher what?
Viscosity is what it's called. It's how thick it is. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
So 10 carrot seed, 4 lavender.
and 4
4
geranium.
uranium.
And again, we did 1/4 cup of coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of shea butter, and 1/2 teaspoon of vitamin E oil. And I'm literally just gonna give that a good stir. And that is it. I'm gonna pour it into a jar, and it's done. It'll get to room temperature. It'll re-solidify a little bit, not completely, because it will be, even as a solid, it will be a soft solid. So you can basically swipe your finger in, warm it in your hands, and be able to put it on. And there we are.
Now, if you put that in the refrigerator, would that help it to turn into more of a creamier?
What it will make it is very hard. In the
Hard?
refrigerator, it'll be hard. So it'll be
The coconut oil. Yeah.
you want it, if you want it creamier, you want to leave it at room temperature.
Okay.
So,
And that doesn't come across as oily? I know you said you have dry skin, but on the
yeah,
dryer, so does it make your skin oily if you
to me,
don't have dry skin?
normally when there are times when my skin has not been oily, just on an overall basis, my skin is drier. I just use less usually. And if it feels like it's too oily, like it's not soaking in fast enough, like if I've been super hydrated or I've been extra moisturizing, that will happen. And I'll usually give it about 5 minutes to soak into my skin, and then I'll just take a towel and blot it a little bit to kind of get rid of that, especially if I'm going to be putting makeup on, because I don't want it too oily with my makeup.
So this is only used for your face and maybe your neck?
Yes.
Okay,
Actually, however you treat your face, you should be treating your neck and
and your chest?
yes. There's a French word for it, but I can never say.
Décolletage, is it décolletage?
Yes, thank you, décolletage. Yes. So all of that skin is very sensitive and
Okay,
and different than the rest of your body. So all of that should be treated the same. So
Okay.
that is our facial moisturizer with SPF. Super,
and how
super
much
simple.
is the SPF in that?
They actually are not telling me. If I remember correctly, the carrot seed SPF is about 30. So
Okay.
with as diluted as that is, I would probably guess it to be about 15.
Okay.
What's the SPF in there? The vitamin E? And what's the protection?
That's what we were just talking about. Carrot seed is 30. So I'm guessing between the dilution of it, it's going to be about 15. But coconut oil actually has just about a 5 on the scale. It's naturally got some SPF to it. Coconut oil does. So I would guess at about 15 on this, which would be an everyday light SPF that you would want.
If you wanted more protection, would you add more of the oil to it, or do you not suggest that?
I would try it. I would probably do something a little bit more specific if I wanted it higher. I am not a person that likes a high SPF anyway. I believe we need the sun. If I'm going to be out all day in the sun, yes, I want some protection. But on a normal everyday basis, I normally do not wear much of an SPF because we need that light on our skin. It does a lot of different chemical reactions, and it's got a lot of health benefits to it.
I think she's thinking in terms of children if they're out in the sun, because I know we're thinking we're going to Rhode Island, we hope. And if we go, we don't want the kids burned up, and that's what part of this is aiming for.
Yeah. The problem is that I don't know exactly how well it would work. I would like to tell you, yes, just add some more carrot seed to it, but I'm not 100% sure that that's going to do it, and I'd hate for the kiddos to burn. Personally, if I was going to be in Rhode Island where you guys are going to be outside in the sun a lot, I would probably be getting Young Living's sunscreen. That's what I use when I'm going to be out in the sun a lot.
Okay.
I've seen recipes to hack that, to make it into a spray, to make it a lot easier to apply. Young Living sunscreen is super, super thick.
I like the hack idea to spray it.
Yes, I like that idea. I have not done it yet. I have all the supplies. I just haven't personally got around to doing it because I haven't needed to, haven't been anywhere that I was going to be outside a lot. We do have a tendency to travel to Florida a decent amount. I've got 2 sisters that live down there. And if we were going, which because of Corona, we haven't been, I would probably have hacked it by now and tried it, but I haven't. A lot of people are loving it. What I have done is I've wet my hands a lot, like they're pretty much dripping wet, and I'll put a little bit in my hand and then I rub it together to get it to smooth and spread easily, and then I apply it. That's what I have done in the past before I heard about the hack. And it goes way further, and I have a tendency to burn because I'm pretty fair skinned. And I haven't burnt with that. So that's worked. Somebody online had said, well, you're using the water, that's going to take the SPF stuff down. And the difference between a 10 SPF and a 50 SPF is minute about how much longer you can handle the sun. I think it's like a half an hour's worth of difference. That's not, when you're talking 5 hours in the sun, 30 minutes, it's either 15 or 30 minutes. It's not much. So the higher SPFs really are not that much more effective. They make us think it is, but it really isn't. So let's talk about after sun spray. As I mentioned before, Young Living does carry something for that. It's called Lavaderm, and it's wonderful. I actually do not remember if I have a hack to make the Lavaderm last longer or not. I can't remember, but we are going to make one. So this takes distilled water, aloe vera gel, fractionated coconut oil is what they recommended. I could not find my fractionated coconut oil. I could not find my Young Living's V6 carrier oil. I don't know why it was not where it belongs. And it also takes lavender and peppermint essential oil. So I am using almond oil because this is the liquid oil that I have. This needs to stay liquid because it is a spray. So we are going to start with the water. So we need 1/3 cup of water.
While you're pouring that, Patsy, just to remind everybody that you have to be really careful about using plastic with the oils because it could melt it and ruin it. So I know you left your spoon in the other stuff. So
Actually, it's not.
oh, okay. You had stirred it, so
I stirred it, but yes, we're not anymore in there, and that's why I put it into a glass jar. And I'm using a glass jar to make this into. So. And when you're making things, you really want to use distilled water because there's no impurities in it. There's nothing extra that's going to grow in it. So it's not going to degrade your product. And then we need 1/4 cup of aloe vera gel. And the one that I have is not organic. It's not the best, but it's what was here. So we're going to use it. Because frugalness. Just like when I talk to people, coming on to Young Living, and I don't tell them, switch everything out right now. As you get, as you empty a bottle of shampoo, empty a bottle of hand lotion, replace it with a better alternative instead of, you don't need to go crazy and buy everything all at once. So we're gonna pour this into there. Yes, good. There's just wasn't quite full enough. There we go. And then we need 1 teaspoon of carrier oil. There's my teaspoon measure. And I'm going to encourage this gel down my funnel just a little bit. I should have done the gel first and then put the water in. I'm not sure why I didn't remember to do that. I'm pouring my water out so I can pour it back in there because that will help the gel to go down. Mix that gel up just a little bit. Make it a little bit more, lessen its viscosity. So if you, the worst viscosity of essential oils, while I'm messing with this, I'll just give you a little tidbit. I had somebody that joined my team. She had been using Young Living oils for a really, really long, I don't know, 5 years or something. It had been a long time. And she chose to move her membership under me, and she was ordering, and she called me one day and she's like, I don't know what to do. She said, I ordered a bottle of oil and I can tell the bottle is full, but it won't come out. And I'm like, that is just really weird. I'm like, did you take the top off and make sure like there wasn't, things happen in manufacturing and those, I'm thinking that plastic disc didn't get the hole punched in it or something. She goes, no, it's fine. And I'm like, this is really, really odd. And then all of a sudden it hit me. And I'm like, what oil is it? She goes, it's vetiver. I'm like, oh, I got you, babe. Vetiver is very, very thick. So we like to call it a bra oil, or it's a pocket oil. So when you use vetiver, you want to put it in your bra, in your pocket, somewhere that's going to warm it up. You don't want it hot, but you want it just that body heat to warm it, and that lowers the viscosity so it comes out. And it works like a charm.
Hopefully you do this at home, not out somewhere.
Yes,
You're
exactly.
gonna put it in your bra.
Yes.
How do you spell that, vetiver?
Vetiver is Vetiver.
Okay.
So we are going to do, oh, I need to put in my almond oil. I almost forgot that one. So again,
Almond
fractionated,
oil?
I'm using almond because I don't have fractionated coconut oil.
Okay.
That would be the best oil to use.
Okay.
What kind of coconut oil?
Fractionated coconut oil stays liquid. So you can use fractionated, you can use V6, that stays liquid, but it needs to be something that's going to stay liquid. And that's why I had the almond is one of the carrier oils that I use for like roller bottles and stuff. So, because when you make a roller bottle, you want it to stay liquid. My favorite carrier oil, honestly, is coconut oil, the regular kind that gets solid at lower temperatures. But that does not work when you're making a spray or a roller bottle. So this recipe is 10 drops of lavender, and 10 drops of peppermint. Now, lavender is super amazing for your skin, which is why you might have noticed it's in both recipes. It is just absolutely phenomenal. Lavender also has some analgesic properties to it. So in this after sun spray, it's going to help reduce any discomfort. The peppermint is going to have a cooling sensation for those times when the sun has been just too much. And that is everything that goes in there. You're just going to swirl it up. I would recommend, I didn't grab a spray top to come in here with me, but every time you use it, I would shake it, just because there's a decent amount of water in here, and oils and water don't mix, so you want them thoroughly mixed.
How much water, please?
What I made this in an 8-ounce bottle. The original recipe actually calls for a 16-ounce bottle, but I don't have one. So I cut the recipe down, and I used 1/3 of a cup of water, 1/4 of a cup of aloe, 1 teaspoon of fractionated coconut oil. Yep. And you know what? I made this too strong. This was supposed to have 4. The original recipe has got 10 drops in it. So it should have had 4 of lavender and 4 of peppermint.
Oh,
So
okay.
I will dig through all of my spray bottles and see if I can find a 16-ounce one to put that in.
And this is for after the sun.
This is after the sun.
Okay.
So like I said, this one is, this one is the one that was more moisturizing because it doesn't use witch hazel. Almost every other recipe that I found used witch hazel. And because I'm so fair skinned and I know how my skin reacts when it gets sunburnt, I did not think I really wanted witch hazel on there. The witch hazel would have some cooling properties, but I didn't think I wanted to do that for my skin personally. I think it probably would be fine for most people, but I am super fair. And so I don't honestly get sunburned very often anymore because I've learned how much sun my skin can take. And I work very hard when I know that I'm going to be out in the sun to build myself up so that I don't sunburn, because nobody needs to feel that discomfort, and nobody needs the results, which can be skin cancer. So we don't want that. Any questions, any more questions about what I've done? Okay.
Sounds good.
And Colleen, I think it's your turn.
Okay. Well, one of our favorite things is after a day in the sun is to go out and start a bonfire. Well, whatever you call it, a pit fire in the backyard. The only problem is in the evenings in Rhode Island, the bugs could carry a small child off. And so we usually end up with thousands of bug bites. And so it's kind of been a passion of ours to find something that doesn't have DEET in it. I just don't like spraying all the DEET on us. So I found one that sounds like it's a very easy, simple one. It does take a lot of different oils here, but we'll go over that. First thing it needs is a 1/2 gallon of distilled water. And into the 1/2 gallon distilled water, you put 1/2 of an ounce of organic catnip. Now, the only problem I had is I couldn't find organic catnip because nobody has got the right things in stock right now. So I just got catnip. I put it in a coffee filter and stapled it shut because they talked about straining, and I hate straining teas. So I put it into my nice metal pot, and you are to steep the tea for 20 to 30 minutes. So I did that last night because I didn't want to have to be messing with something hot. When I did it last night with the hot stuff, I poured it all over and made a big mess. And Kevin says it smells really good. So just FYI.
So
It's
how much
catnip.
of the catnip?
1/2 of an organic, 1/2 ounce of organic catnip.
Okay.
Where do you find that at? Where'd you get that at?
PetSmart.
Oh,
You can order it and I can send it to you, but I was afraid with shipping being so screwy these days, I didn't want to try having it mailed. So I went and picked it up. And then that goes into a 1/2 gallon of distilled water.
Okay. Got
And
that.
as Patsy said, I cut this recipe by half because it called for a whole gallon and a whole ounce of catnip. So, but I've already done all the other stuff, the division, so it should be okay. Next thing it calls for is 1/2 teaspoon of our Thieves Cleaner, household cleaner, which should have come in your regular packets if you got a packet with all the household cleaners. If not, I love this stuff. I use it also in my laundry detergent. And by the way, put laundry, I know I'm the only one that does this because Rachel's now done with it, but I made up my my YL hacks with the laundry detergent downstairs, and I threw about 4 drops on the stinky diaper, and the diapers came out for the first time in a long time that they didn't have any scent after I'd washed them. Every so often they kind of smell a little bit. They were perfect. So I love Thieves. It's great. So I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon into my container here. It's a little messy there, so it's a little bit more.
That's different than the little spray thing that I got in my kit.
Yeah, this is a household cleaner. I think
okay.
the best thing to think is it replaces like the Lysols and the toilet bowl cleaners and the Pine Sol that you would use in your house. You can make this up to clean everything.
Oh,
Patsy was
okay.
telling me all about that, so I've become a lover of it.
Mom, does that clean glass and mirrors?
I think it does.
I use it all the time for glass and mirrors at my house.
Cool.
And it smells really good too.
Yes.
All right, then you put in 20 drops of purification. So here's purification. I don't know if you guys, I don't know where my camera is.
Okay. Yep.
So
hold
20.
on, let me see. Hold on. 20 drops of purification.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What's that smell like? The purification oil.
Yeah, what's in that?
It smells clean, but with it's really hard to describe purification.
It smells familiar, and I couldn't tell you what it is.
I know.
But if you go to the YL website, it tells you what lemongrass is what I smell. That's what
Oh, okay.
That could be.
that's one of the things of many. Like it's got rosemary, I can't read the rest of rosemary, citronella, lemongrass, tea tree. I think it says lavender. I don't know. The writing is so small. Those are most of them. But if you look on the website, it'll tell you what's in them.
Yeah,
Okay.
purification is really good for literally removing odors. It does not cover them. It neutralizes odors, but it is also very much known for its debuggy properties,
What
Yeah.
is that, the purification?
the purification.
Is that
yes.
what-
Yes.
Okay.
Next thing that we need is either Idaho or blue tansy. I'm using the blue tansy. And it's 10 drops of that. So
So no
And
problem it coming out.
yeah, it came out with no problem. The only thing you want to know is if you use the blue tansy, and thank heavens, Patsy told me that the blue tansy is blue. So I don't think it'll stain anything because I
Kind of
think
like Valor is kind of bluish purple.
That's where
Yeah.
Valor gets its color from, actually, is from the blue tansy that is in it. And I think it would stain plastic. It would I would not be surprised if it stained clothing, if you got very much on it. One drop, probably not, but it does stain your skin for about 5 or 10 minutes. You'll see the blue on your skin for about 5 or 10 minutes.
well, I don't know if this will because it's so diluted because I got,
No, yours won't, no.
yeah,
But if it's
but-
just the straight oil, you'll see the blue mark on your skin.
Okay, so if you don't use the blue tansy, what was the other product that you could
Idaho.
use?
Idaho tansy.
Tansy.
It's just like we've got sacred frankincense and regular, so it's just a different type of tansy.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one is called Palo Santo. I don't know if you can see that or not. That also takes 10 drops.
Have you tested this out yet, Colleen?
No, I have not yet tested it out. I wish I would have had this last week because on Father's Day, Ben was trying to social distance. And so he came over and was sitting out with Kevin out in the front porch. And I came in and my whole trunk, the between my breasts and my rear end were all just bitten up. And all I was doing was sitting on a porch swing. So yeah, that's fun stuff. Okay, the next one is Digitize.
Digize.
Digize, sorry about that.
Digize.
Digize. And it is 20 drops of this.
How do you spell that, Colleen? Digize.
D-I-G-I-Z-E.
Okay,
She was counting.
sorry.
That's okay.
10 drops.
10 drops or 20?
20.
20. That's what I thought.
Yes, it was 20, sorry. And I think I did a couple of extra ones. Okay, next one is Rosemary. And that is 10. Can you see the name?
Yeah.
Do 10 of those. All right. Now it's starting to smell really good. This is about when Kevin said to me the other day, he said, boy, it smells good. Next one is our favorite peppermint. So
Okay.
we'll put 4 of those in. This is another
Side
one.
note, while she's counting, rosemary is also really great to diffuse for focus and for your brain. Rosemary is great for your brain.
And the last
Okay.
one is you can either put 10 drops of lemongrass or 10 drops of oregano. So I use what I've got, which is the lemongrass. And yeah, that's the smell I was smelling in the other one.
Okay.
And how many,
Lemongrass
how
or
many
what?
rosemary? I'm sorry.
10.
10 rosemary.
4 rosemary, 10 lemongrass.
I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
let me run down them all because that's everything now. It was a ½ gallon of distilled water,
Okay.
a ½ ounce of catnip, 1 teaspoon of the Thieves Household Cleaner, 20 drops of purification, 10 drops of Idaho tansy, 10 drops of Palo Santo, 20 drops of Digize, 10 of rosemary, 4 peppermint, and then 10 of either lemongrass or oregano. And then I got out my handy little whisk. And when I did this, it made the blue stuff sort of go into everything else, so it didn't appear to be real blue. And I got out of this, I've got 2 16-ounce bottles, an 8-ounce bottle, and then a quart-sized jug. So, and that was just out of the recipe that we made here. So it should last us a pretty good while. I'm sharing it with everybody I can think of to try it to see what they think. And it smells really good, guys. It doesn't smell like that DEET stuff that makes you want to cry. The only thing you have to remind kids, even no matter what you're using, is make sure you don't get it in your eyes. But we'll see. We'll let you know how many bites it saves us when we're in Rhode Island this year, because I'm taking everything that I can up there to find out.
Awesome.
The last thing we've got here is the bug bite. I call it the bug bite relief, because once you've gotten a bite, you're miserable, especially if you've gotten several of them all at the same time. So this is the first serum. I also have a different one that I copied out of there, but it had so many different ingredients. I thought, I'm not going to mess with that. I wanted to make it a little simpler tonight. So, but I'll pass that along to Patsy. I'll send all 3 of my recipes, and she can do an attachment to this.
Yes.
So this one is real simple. First thing is our all popular lavender. So we do our 10 drops of lavender in this. And what I have got are the little bottle like Patsy had. I don't know how many ounces this is. It's probably 1 or 2.
It is. It's either 1 or 2. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. So 10, 1, 2. All right, 10 drops of lavender, 3 drops of German chamomile. And there are 2 different kinds of chamomile. From what I understand is they're pretty similar, but the German is the one that this recipe calls for. So you put 3 in of that. And this has a thicker viscosity also. Come on. Maybe yours had more in it than I thought it did then. Maybe it's just this stuff. 2. Can almost get it out. I literally have to bump the side of the jar. Yeah, that was really thick. Okay, and then we have eucalyptus, what do you call it, radiata?
Yeah, radiata is how I pronounce it. I'm not sure if that it's right, but it's just how I pronounce it.
Anyhow, eucalyptus our stuff, and it takes 4 drops of that.
Young Living actually sells 2 different kinds of eucalyptuses, but they produce 4 because they actually use the other 2 in one of the other products. It takes all 4 of the eucalyptuses in RC, I believe it is.
RC?
Yep, has 4 different types of eucalyptus.
Yeah, I saw RC and I thought I've got to figure out more of what to use that for.
Respiratory care.
Ah.
Oh, how about that?
Last thing this calls for is thyme. So you put 2 drops of thyme in.
And which eucalyptus did you use?
Radiata is what she used.
Radiata, R-A-D-I-A-T-A.
R-A-D-I-A.
T-A.
Okay.
And then you're supposed to put some kind of a carrier oil because this makes just a teeny weeny bit in the bottom. So I use, because I really like the effects of Olivero, I've got Olivero gel that I'm going to put in with this. And for us, I know we use a lot of Olivero gel all the time when we're in Rhode Island because it just is great. We usually end up with bug bites and with sun. And then I've got just the roller bottle. Once I get it filled up, I'll put the roller bottle snap on.
Voila.
And then you can shake it up really good.
That's easy enough.
Yep, that's really easy. So hopefully this will help with the kids because I'll tell you, between these 2, the bugs can be really miserable up there. It's gorgeous during the day, but it's warm. And then at night when you're ready to go out and enjoy the outside, you get bit up like crazy. Of course, any place you
Yeah.
put water, you're going to have
That's what I
that.
like about spring. There's no
No
mosquitoes yet.
Yeah, no mosquitoes, but the chiggers are out. Oh, and I know what else I wanted to tell you. That one thing I read when I was looking all this stuff up, I don't know if the rest of you have ever had very much of a problem with ticks, but Ben and April took Yuli for a walk at one of the parks when they opened up, and they came back with a whole bunch of tick all over them, and they were having to get them taken off. I was reading in there that any of the hot oils, and that the two that I specifically think of are the peppermint and the cinnamon. If you put just a teeny bit on the tick, it'll back out to get away because it's burning it.
Nice. Peppermint or cinnamon?
Peppermint and cinnamon. I don't know what are the other hot oils. Do you know, Patsy? I know those were two.
Those are two. Peppermint is gentler on the skin than cinnamon, but the other hot oils are thyme and oregano, and they are super hot. So I would probably not use those unless you actually mix them with a carrier. Hold up your roller bottle again for me, would you? I am pretty sure that is a 10 milliliter roller bottle, ladies, for your recipe. Let me know how that works. I've never put aloe in a roller bottle before. I'm curious to see how that works rolling out.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I will let you know. I wanted to make sure it was something gentle because I figured that the kids will use about half of it. And they also had a whole bunch of stuff like you could, if you wanted to put into this, some of the repellent with a little more water, you could spray it in your bedroom. They suggested you put it on cotton. If you're having trouble with bugs, like our house in Rhode Island was built in 1925, and it has, it needs the windows and all replaced, and we've just not gotten to do all of that yet. But we get a lot of mosquitoes in the house no matter what we do. And it suggested putting cotton balls with the bug repellent all around your room, and then they won't want to come in. And I thought I'd line them up in the windowsills. I'll be really.
A great idea.
That sounds like or you could probably spray windowsills with it.
Yeah, I probably could.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hurt. There isn't anything they could damage. The stupid place needs too much work for it to do any damage. So.
Yeah. I actually, we've been in this house for 4 years, and I've had ant problems in my kitchen before, but I've never had them in the room that is my office. And this year I started having ant issues, and I started diffusing peppermint and lemon, and that slowed them down, but I actually found where they were getting into out front, and I made some ant bait. Not Young Living, but I diffused very strongly in my office to drive them out. And then I put the ant bait out, and they're gone. I am just so thrilled.
What kind of ant bait did you use? Because I have them in my kitchen to the point that I go crazy.
Wow. That's really
The
cool.
one, I did 3 different types. One of them used cornstarch and powdered sugar and made it into a powder. They wanted it into a liquid, but I did it as a powder and a liquid to see which one worked better. I think the most effective one was the one that used borax and grape jelly.
And
Grape,
grape jelly?
it was borax and jelly. And borax and baking soda, when you mix them with something sweet, the ants can't tell the difference, but they can't digest baking soda or borax. So it literally kills them because they can't digest it. So I'll send you the
Wow.
recipe.
So what do? You put it near the windows that you thought they were coming in? I'm not real sure where they're coming in.
I put it outside is where I put it because I knew where they were coming in outside. And I put it in I have little dishes, but like the lid of a spaghetti can or something that's just real shallow, put it in that, something that they can easily crawl into. The only mistake I made, because I wanted it out for a while, but my grandpuppy was coming over, and I did not know how the baking soda or the borax was going to do with the dog. So I didn't want to leave them out very long. But when I went to go pick them up, I didn't bring something to drop the containers into. So I ended up with ants all over my arm because I was trying to pick them up. So I just went to the sink and I just washed everything down the sink. And it worked.
I know I had used borax, but I couldn't remember what I used it with. I don't think it was grape jelly, but I don't remember what else I used.
So that was the first time I found that recipe. It actually had, I think it had some sugar in it as well as the jelly and the borax. And I was just like, this is it. Because
That's amazing.
yeah,
You could probably use like a diatomaceous earth. There's food grade as well.
there
And
is.
baking soda. You can probably use that. It's real silt-like. You can get 10 pounds for $20
Yeah.
online.
The
I put that in the garden. Yeah.
the baking soda I mixed with powdered sugar. They're very similar in size and grains, and so they can't tell the difference between them. And I was really thrilled with having the diffusing stuff, that it just definitely slowed them down and sent them back outside so they could eat the bait. And because it was, when I found the nest outside where they were coming in, there was a huge nest of them. And I was like, okay, this is not good. And it's gone. It is just literally gone.
I know where my nest is outside, but I didn't think it was close enough to the house, but who knows? Because I don't know how big the nest is.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be an idea, just to stick it outside.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
All right.
Yes. Ladies, while you're here, do you have any questions about any of your oils or anything else that I can answer for you?
Yes. Any kind of meetings or anything that you're having during the week, or
I do on Monday afternoons at
any
4.
other
I-
Facebook?
Yeah, I do them all on Zoom because if you ask me how to treat a headache, if I'm on Facebook, I can't answer that. If you were in my living room, I would answer it. So I kind of feel like Zoom is more like my living room. And I feel much more comfortable because it's a private setting answering you how to do that. So
Do you send out a link to everybody? If you did, I'm sorry, I didn't get it, but if not, can you, or what do you have? Any kind of anything that you mail out to people, or to keep everybody in the loop? Is there anything like that, or even on a corporate level? Are they doing anything?
Corporate, if you want to go to the Young Living Product and Education page on Facebook, most of my stuff goes out on the text blast that I send. When I'm texting you, you should, it's sometime once a week. I don't always get one out every week, but all of the dates for everything that I do is there in the text stuff that I send out. Everything is done on Zoom, and it's the same passcode as what meeting ID as it was tonight, which is my Zoom ID is 310-258 0920. And like I said, Mondays at 4 p.m. I do a business training. Tuesday mornings at 10, I do a question and answer session. It can be about anything, particular oil. It can be about the business. It can be about a health topic. I have 20 years of my own health journey. And if I can help you with anything, that is my goal. It does not have to be Young Living. If I can help you be the best version of you, that's what I want to do. On Tuesdays at 10:30, I do Health Talk Tuesday. That is a non-Young Living specific health training. Because I've been on such a long health journey, I have a lot of resources that I've purchased. I have the right to share them with family and friends in my living room. I can't do that, especially right now with the coronavirus going on. So I play it. I share my screen and I do it on Zoom. And I pick, if anybody's got a particular topic they want to cover, I'm more than happy to find one of my resources that has it. But otherwise, I just randomly pick whatever feels right for that day. And I go through that. On Thursdays at 7:30 every week, I'm doing some kind of product education on a Young Living product. It can be anything. It could be a supplement, it could be oils, anything. And then at 8:30, I do a essential oils basics. So it's simply a 101. How to use what you have in your starter kit. For people that you know that are interested in a starter kit, they can get on and learn about what oils are, why we want to use them, and the oils in the starter kit. Those are my regularly scheduled events every week. Mondays at 4 for business, Tuesday 10 for question and answer, 10:30 is health talk, Thursdays at 7:30 Young Living specific, and 8:30 is a 101. You are welcome to invite people to any of those. And then, if you want something specific, let me know and we can get that, we can do it. So I know we want to do another Bible oils class. We can do it on Zoom. It's just not near as fun because you can't get to smell the oils and everything.
Well, as soon as all this COVID stuff gets over, I'd sure like to do a few more, do it yourself. We can make things. I have been very blessed by, I bought a whole bunch of resources from that Discover website.
Kitty cat outside, Sam.
And so as a result of buying all those, I have so many recipes now, and I'm just really excited about. One of the things I've got, if Deborah, you were asking me about the Thieves Cleaner, I've got one book that says 150 ways to use it, and another book that says 350 ways to use it. So I've got lots of ways you can use it to clean everything.
Oh, here it's great.
That's awesome. Is that book on the it's on Young Living too, I guess, right?
Yes, it is. But I've got one if you want it. I think I've got a whole bunch of the 150. I don't know if I've got a whole bunch of the 350. I bought so much stuff, I don't know exactly what all
I think 150 would be enough for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I
think you might get lost after 50.
With the Thieves Household Cleaner, I do probably over 90% of my cleaning with the same dilution. And it's not Young Living sanctioned, my dilution. I wasn't paying attention when I first got mine, and I went to Walmart and I bought a spray bottle, and I put because you're supposed to put a capful in a bottle. Well, it's supposed to be a capful in, I think, a 24-ounce bottle. Mine was 32 ounces. That's what I've used to clean with. Almost everything, that's what I clean with. Except for where I use my Thieves soft scrub. And occasionally I will use full strength on something if I really, really need to, but it's very rare. I do my windows, my mirrors, my sinks, my countertops, all get sprayed down with that 32 ounce with one capful in it. And I will tell you, I had right before I got into Young Living, I had a housekeeper that always, she got a lot of cold sores. And particularly like if she had too much orange juice or too much fruit, she would get a cold sore. And I never got them until she started working for me. And then all of a sudden, I probably had 5 cold sores in the 9 months she worked for me. At the same time that she quit, I joined Young Living and started using Thieves Household Cleaner. So I really don't know which one of them did it. But since then, and that's been 3.5 years, I've had 2. And those were both after dental work, where everything was getting really irritating because I had a lot of dental work. So I feel like it's strong enough. Nobody in my house hardly ever gets any kind of bug. So I'm happy with that dilution. It works for me.
Something I've been thinking, because of the stuff in Thieves, I think it might help cut down on ants. I have Corian countertops, and I thought, I don't know if that's just plastic. I don't know what Corian's made out of, and I was afraid to use it on the countertops.
I would research what it is, but if it's highly diluted, you should be okay. I use it
Okay.
on my granite.
All right.
I don't worry about it. If I am cutting a lemon, I worry about it. If I'm using lemon oil for something, I worry about it. With the Thieves Household Cleaner, I don't.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I would research what is in the countertop before I really got too much with it. But, you know, and when you're diluting, that makes a difference on how much it does. If you want to see what lemon oil can do to plastics, take your bottle of lemon oil and put a drop on something styrofoam. That will freak you out. That is what lemon oil is kind of doing to the things that are deposited in your body that are not supposed to be there. It doesn't do it to your natural tissues, because you can put lemon right on your skin. It's not going to hurt your skin, but it will eat away the plastic that we have and the other things that we have built up in our system that don't belong there. It's very cool.
So you take it internally then?
I do. I have done it a lot in my water, but my favorite way is putting it into an empty veggie capsule and taking it internally. Hold on just a minute. Folks, I hope that I'm gonna stop the recording here for a minute, and then I want to tell you something, Deborah.
Okay.
I hope that you enjoyed this class today, and if you've got questions, please reach out to whoever sent you the recording. Thanks.